Hello everyone, this is Randy on The Truth Exposed and welcome to this presentation. Now in the last presentation I talked about some of the powerful elite families of the world and their impact on governments and economies and on the development of some of the major wars throughout the past few centuries. Some of these families are the Rothschild family of Europe, the Rockefellers in the United States. You have the Warburgs of both Europe and the United States. You have the J.P. Morgan family, the Carnegies, just to name a few. The Schiffs, just to name a few. For example, Nathan Rothschild, through his financial manipulation and funding of both Napoleon and Wellington during the War of 1815, he was able to take control of the Bank of England. And as a result, the Rothschild family has been in control of the Bank of England ever since. Now we can see that throughout history, these elites, through the manipulation of finance and by helping to create conflict after conflict, have been etching closer and closer to the establishment of a more centralized global political and economic union. We see after World War I the creation of the League of Nations, which was an attempt to establish a global governing body. And after World War II, we see the establishment of the United Nations. Basically, it brought together more nations under the control and direction of a centralized government organization. We also see at that time the establishment of NATO, which was the creation of a unified global military force, specifically to enforce the interests of this global united world government. In fact, the land that the United Nations sits on in New York City was donated by the Rockefeller family. So what's the ultimate goal of these elites? And how are they able to accomplish these goals? Well, their primary goal is the total takeover of the world, to enforce a global dictatorship. And they're able to do this by controlling governments. All major financial institutions under their control. The creation of currency and the control of money. They control most major corporations, and they control almost all the world's military forces, particularly in the western part of the world. This didn't happen overnight. In fact, they've been working at this for several hundred years now. Before his assassination in 1963, John F. Kennedy had warned, "For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources in the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, economic, scientific, intelligence, and political operations." So we can see that these people, their power is all-encompassing. They control and influence all aspects of our society and government. So, of course, they're able to accomplish a lot of their objectives through their power and wealth. Now, in the 18th century, Nathan Mayer Rothschild, who was the head of the Rothschild family at the time, had said, "I care not what puppet is placed on the throne of England to rule the empire." He said that the man that controls Britain's money supply controls the British Empire. And I control the money supply. So that's what it's about. It's controlling the money, and it's controlling the governments as a result of that. As I informed in my previous presentation, the Federal Reserve Bank of the United States is not a government institution. Although it has the appearance of being a government institution, it's not. It's privately owned. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York, for example, is the principal Federal Reserve Bank. Its stockholders are major New York City banks. For example, Chase Manhattan Bank, which is a Rockefeller bank, is a major shareholder in the Federal Reserve Bank, and so is the Citibank. Now, the elites have created four major secret society organizations, of which most politicians, business executives, academics, and media executives are members. They are the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, the Royal Institute for International Affairs, and the Bilderbergs. All four of these societies in turn fund and control numerous tax-exempt foundations and alphabet agencies. Some of these are the CIA, NSA, the National Security Agency, the DIA, Defense Intelligence Agency, the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Agency, and the IRS, Internal Revenue Service, as well as FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency. There are over 5,000 tax-exempt foundation, trusts, and agencies under their control, some of which are the Agency of International Development, American Civil Liberties Union, American Council on Race Relations, American Press Institute, the Arab Bureau, the Aspen Institute, Association of Humanistic Psychology, Center for Advanced Studies in the Behavioral Sciences, the Christian Socialist League, Communist League, Environmental Fund, the Fabian Society, the Ford Foundation, the Hudson Institute, the International Drug Institute for Strategic Studies, the Mellon Institute, the Milner Group, the National Council of Churches, New World Foundation, the Rand Institute, Stanford Research Institute, Institute of Human Relations, Union of Concerned Scientists, the International Red Cross, and YMCA, just to name a few. The Aspen Institute, for instance, hosts presidents and prime ministers, statesmen, business journalists, activists, educators, and artists. It was founded by Chicago industrialist Robert Maynard Hutchins, who was the president of Rockefeller University of Chicago, and CFR member Henry Luce, the head of the Time Life publications. The Institute of Policy Studies, the IPS, include many groups both from the left and the right, and shapes and reshapes U.S. policies, both foreign and domestic. It was founded by Paul Warburg, who was a Rothschild agent and a major banker and one of those key individuals that was in the development of the Federal Reserve banking system back in 1913. The IPS objective is to engender strife, unrest, and spread chaos, and spread the ideals of left-wing nihilism. They support the unrestricted use of drugs of all types. Its goal is to dismantle all economic, political, and social cultural institutions in the U.S., and its funding comes from CFR-connected organizations. Presently, the elites are on a fast track to pushing ahead their global one world agenda. They will bring about total economic collapse of Europe and the United States, resulting in a total economic failure of the entire planet. They will also initiate World War III, which will empower them to impose martial law on all citizens. So with all nations completely bankrupt and all citizens under martial law, they will then subject all of us to a one world ruler. We will all become the slaves of the elites and this one world dictator. So I encourage you to become more informed of what's going on in this world, what's really going on in this world. There are a number of individuals who have researched and written extensively about this particular topic. So please go to YouTube and listen to Dr. Stanley Monteith. He talks about the Brotherhood of Darkness, where he speaks extensively about the elites and the development of their history over the centuries. You can also listen to Evan Sadler's presentation on the New World Order. You can listen to Alex Jones on a daily basis. Some of his presentations, and he has numerous guest speakers on this very topic. You can also listen to some of his documentaries like Endgame. Listen to Aaron Russo talk about the elites and their agenda before he had passed away. So I encourage you to be informed and to stay alert and to understand what's really going on in the world and listen to what these good people have to say. Okay, so take good care, and we'll see you again sometime. Take care, bye-bye.